You're watching Lansdowne Raw, the voice of the fans. I'm Martin Prendergast, joined by Conor McAvoy this evening as we catch up in the latest news in Irish football, including Bazunu off to Stoke, Evan Ferguson, injury woes, and Didsy flops at Anfield. Little shocker one for you there, Conor. How you getting on? It's Lansdowne Raw Live. Get involved. There you go. I thought I'd throw a little curveball at you there, Conor. But, Didsy at Anfield, this was your dream, wasn't it?
Well, not my dream. I'm not a Liverpool fan, so but he has scored at Anfield before when they played them at Derby.
And great record, haven't they, Barnsley?
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
Anfield.
But anyway,
look, welcome to the show, everybody. I've balls up the intro, and Dave will be incredibly annoyed at that. But welcome to the show. This is Lansdowne Raw Live, joined by Conor McAvoy, as I said, and we've got all the latest news in Irish football covered for you tonight. But first of all, a little bit of housekeeping. If you would like to make sure that you have subscribed to our show, and also get your comments in on anything you want to talk about Irish football this evening. If you want to support the pod as well a little bit more, you can join us in the link of the show notes, which is Lansdowne Raw Plus. You can also support the page by buying us a coffee. Again, the link in the show notes. And we still have our amazing raffle for one more week. We're going on with this one, and you can win a Ian Harte signed bottle of Jameson, fantastic collaboration we did with Jameson, but also a Roma shirt from the current season. £10 entry in that, and some of the profits will go towards Heads in the Game, our charity partner. But it's a fantastic prize to win there. You can see in the photo for those watching on YouTube, which I'm sure many of you are already. That's Ian signing that very bottle. It's full of Jameson, fantastic prize, a limited edition Puma collaboration bottle of Jameson signed by Ian Harte and the Roma shirt. We've got another week of entries being able to be made for that. So make sure you again buy your ticket. It's got to be in it to win it. And also, if you would like to support the page a bit further, we have also done a little bit of a fantastic little merchandise little offer here. We've got some fantastic 4 different beer coasters, Heimer, Coleman, Parrott and Collins, and also our fantastic sticker collection as well. And the link again to purchase those is in the show notes. Only got a few of those left, but we can send them off from Ireland and also from the UK, and we send them worldwide as well. We've had some fantastic support from. We've actually had a purchase from Australia the other day and also America. So all our cousins in America are getting really behind Irish football, which we would expect, Conor, because we're off to a World Cup in 2026. I think this is the first live show. Is it? Oh, no, it's not the first live show I've done in 2026, but our second one and the main one with me and you.
Without
Dave. Yeah, so it's going to be a good one. We've got Obig to come up, but we want to hear from you, the Raw faithful. Did you watch the game from Anfield this evening? Conor Hourihane, the manager of Barnsley, fantastic performance from them. The score did not reflect the match at all. 4-1 win for Liverpool as they go into the next round of the FA Cup. But really good performance overall. And Didsy got on the pitch, as I said. And we've also got the latest news in Irish football. And we're going to be talking about Bazunu's move to Stoke. Do you think it's a good move? And also Ferguson's injury woes at Roma. So, Conor, after that fantastic intro, how are you getting on? How was your weekend? What's happening?
I'm good. I'm trying to think about the weekend. I don't think I done it, and I think I just watched football as per usual. What I always do the weekend. But anyway, I'm good. I actually really enjoyed tonight's match. I thought it was actually brilliant. Like I'd often struggle to enjoy like Premier League teams watching them these days or high level matches at that standard because they just seem robotic, and it's to do a few step overs and they pass it backwards and sidewards. And like even watching Man United and Brighton last night, that was dire as well. So it was good to watch a match tonight, like watching Reyes Cleary on the wing for Barnsley. He was absolutely unbelievable. And it's a bit, I've been asked before about him in terms of, is he Irish? I've never heard he's Irish, and I don't believe he's any Irishman because he has Cleary as a second name, but I don't think he's Irish, unfortunately. But I thought he was like superb for them. Conor Hourihane set Barnsley up so well, went toe-to-toe with Liverpool tonight. They didn't just go to Anfield tonight, defend in a low block like we did in Portugal and just try and hold off. They went at Liverpool. They tried to play football. When they got their chances, Keeler Dunn and Cleary up front were brilliant, I thought, together. I thought Corey O'Keefe, he was swapping sides every so often from right back to left back. I thought he was absolutely brilliant from an Irish player doing really well. Like he was on loan at Stockport first half of the season, wasn't really starting. Came back to Barnsley, played tonight. Thought he was absolutely brilliant. Fair play to him. Ali McCoist, which was actually quite fun. He was trying to include on the TNT. They only seemed to do it for FA Cup, did it? The scan, yeah. and you pick your 3 players. You want to pick 3 Barnsley players, but obviously TNT Sports, whoever the producer was or director, wouldn't let them do that because obviously it wouldn't drive much traffic to their website. Liverpool fans couldn't vote, but yeah, I thought O'Keefe was brilliant tonight. Conor Horan set them up so well.
Mm.
It was good to see Owen O'Connell come off the bench for his debut, I think it was. Obviously Conor Barrett, young Irish player who was out on loan in the National League, was on the bench as well tonight. And Didzy came on off the bench in the 70th minute and showed a little bit of class, I thought, when he came on with that little ball in behind to O'Keefe, I thought, with that little left-footed pass. Obviously, Canate got back with his pace behind, but I thought he showed that little bit of thing. His header wasn't too far away, the clear he put in on the head. So he left a little bit of a mark on the pitch. Obviously, you can see he's 38. Like, you can see he has absolutely no pace anymore. But I think it shows the beauty of the type of player he is, that he's never really relied on pace, but it does catch up eventually, and age has caught up on him. Like this last season, it didn't. I think as he stepped up a division this year, which is even more impressive. But I thought I was very impressed with Barnsley, Conor Horan tonight. I think he's a massive future in terms of management in the game. You just know by someone. You kind of know by someone if they're going to be a really good manager. I think he's the prime example. He's a real good football brain. Was always a brilliant technician. Seemed to be the type that would always really think the game out. I'll never forgive him maybe for that Slovakia away game. No, I'm only messing. But Varun Didzy's masterclass that day. But no, he's always been an excellent player. Like he played in the Premier League for a reason. Was brilliant at Villa. So I'm glad to see it go into management. And even though they're kind of struggling in the league, I think tonight was an example of what it's been like in the league for them. They've been really, really good going forward, really exciting, scoring loads of goals, but then defensively they're all over the place, and that's why they've signed someone like Owen O'Connell, who's not really he's probably good enough to play in Championship. I know he left Wrexham, but Wrexham kind of try and sign lads that can play at that level above in the Premier League. But yeah, I'm really, and obviously it was a massive pity, Martin, just lastly, that Luke O'Connell missed tonight's game through suspension. What a time to get sent off last weekend and miss this massive game. I know he's a Scouser, and I believe he's an Everton fan, so it probably would have been even sweeter to go to Anfield and maybe do a good job against Liverpool. And it shows more expense how impressive it was. They were missing their best midfielder, probably the best midfielder in League One, and they still went and they looked excellent. So fair play to Conor Horan and all his players.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, just on the outset of the show, I did joke, obviously, that if Dizzy flopped at Anfield, because look, even for him, 38 years old, this is the beauty of the FA Cup. It's the romance of it. You know, a trip to Anfield. Even in the commentary on TNT, you could see I think 10 minutes to go, and they were, they let in the late goals, of course, but they were still in it, still pushing forward, and it showed even when they got a corner at one time. Just the fans absolutely delighted that they're having a fantastic night out in Anfield, taking on one of the best teams in Europe, of course, and then. But putting up to them basically, and Didzy, yeah, I was gutted. I'd have loved that header to have gone in because it would have just been an absolutely magical moment for him. And yeah, he did show his class. I mean, you don't lose it really. But yeah, great, like for the FA Cup as well. You're seeing some Irish interest in there, and a good draw coming up now. We've had the FA Cup draw, some good fixtures I think in that as well. Stoke City. We're going to come on and talk about Gavin Bazunu going there, but I don't think he will be cup tied yet, will he? Because he didn't play for Southampton, so he should be cup tied, should he? So Stoke are at home to Fulham, Oxford are at home to Sunderland, Southampton home to Leicester, Wrexham at home to Ipswich, Arsenal against Wigan, Hull City, Chelsea, Burton Albion have got West Ham, Burnley at home to Mansfield Town, Norwich City at West Brom, Port Vale versus Bristol City, so a bit of an Irish interest obviously in that one. Grimsby Town at home to Wolves, Aston Villa versus Newcastle, Macclesfield against Brentford. So a great opportunity for Brentford to get through there in a way against fantastic performance there for Macclesfield. So we can't rule out another shock there. Birmingham City home to Leeds, Liverpool at home to Brighton, and Man City have got Salford or Swindon. I mean, that'll be a story in itself at Salford get through that one. But that's the beauty of the FA Cup. Lots of Irish interest there, isn't there?
Did Man City not play Salford last season in the FA Cup? I think they got battered like 6-1 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of interest, a lot of young players. Like I'm just going through the weekend, I'm just thinking of lads that kind of done well that you may not realise. Yesterday, actually, Jason's in the comments. He was at the Sheffield United game yesterday. I know he's saying about Tom Cannon not getting any minutes, but I think it was maybe down to the type of game it was and the fact it was the cup. There weren't two, like Danny Ings started up front, who's not really been playing minutes, but the Mansfield went and beat Sheffield United 4-3 at Bramley yesterday. They went 4-1 up, and I was thinking, oh, that's it. But then when they got the 2 goals back to make it 4-3, you're thinking, oh, there's no. Like, I think there was still 25 minutes, half an hour to play when they got that third goal, and you're like, oh, they'll win this game 5-4. But Burton and Ferguson were absolutely outstanding. I thought Ryan Sweeney, Irishman, centre half at the back for Mansfield, was absolutely exceptional. Was like a man mountain at the back, blocking Everton, getting his body in front of Everton. I thought he was probably man of the match. I thought he was absolutely excellent for Mansfield Town. A massive, I think probably the second biggest upset of the weekend. I know people are talking about Wrexham beating Forest and penalties, but I think Mansfield going to Sheffield United is as good, if not better. And then Steve McLaughlin came on off the bench for Mansfield, which was a great win. Tony Springett, our former Ireland 21 international, missed about 16 months, 12 months, 12 to 16 months, I think it was, with a stress fracture in his back, had to get back surgery, it looked like a really bad way, and it looked like maybe his time at Norwich was done because of it, that it wasn't going to kick on. And but this season he's come back in. I think I've mentioned before that he used to get quite a bit of stick from Norwich fans. Like, he was playing for them the last time they were in the Premier League. He played quite a few minutes towards the end of that season as that young academy player that thought highly of. He was in the 21s for Ireland, went on loan, I think, at Northampton, then the following season for part of it, and didn't really kick on as much as hoped. But this season he's just gone to another level. He's been absolutely brilliant for Norwich. Up and down the wing, like he's like one of those lunatics up the wing, up and down. He's a bit like, he reminds me of James McLean with that bit of up and down non-stop left footer who's mad. And he got his first, not his first senior goal because he scored for Northampton, but his first senior goal for as a Norwich City player, in their 5-1 win against Walsall yesterday, which was great to see because he came through at Norwich. He's been at Norwich pretty much his whole life, and then to finally get his first goal for his boyhood club would be a long time coming, because he's been in senior football for them for like 3 seasons, and probably he's been waiting to get that opportunity to get his first goal. So it was a great moment for him to get that. And I think the only other goal scorer was G.S. Cabia with Grimsby Town. Got his 11th of the season. Obviously, he only took a penalty that day against United, or he scored 2 penalties against United that day. He didn't start that day. He was the main man for them all season, and I think he picked up an injury, and then they only brought him on off the bench against United, which was quite disappointing. We didn't get to see him against United that day, but he's doing really well. Got his 11th this season. Was a lovely finish, a lovely little dink over the keeper. He's doing really well. Ex Cork City player, and if you ask Cork City fans would he be doing this well a couple of years ago, they wouldn't think so. He's really, I don't know whether it's been a mentality shift or an ability. He's just something's gone right for him since moving to England. So yeah, he's another one that's done really well, and it's a good thing about the FA Cup, isn't it? You get to kind of analyse lads that we don't really get to look at. Obviously, even someone like me who watches so many different Irish players, like, you do miss out on lads that are doing really well, and like Ryan Sweeney at Mansfield. Like, to be honest, I'm not going to sit down and watch Mansfield all that too often. So it was good to see someone like that really impressed. So it was a positive weekend, I thought, for even though there were some lads that maybe didn't get minutes they wanted, or lads got rested that will probably be brought on big later. But I think it was a positive weekend.
Yeah, it was. I mean, look, it's the beauty of FA Cup, as I said, and even talking about Cleary tonight. No, not eligible for Ireland, but amazing opportunities for these young lads, and sometimes Irish players have done the same. You get minutes, you can perform, you can show on TV what you're about, and the profile just raises. I mean, that was a fantastic performance by him tonight. But yeah, that's what it is as well for Irish lads looking at it as well. Keep your comments coming in. We will get to them towards the end of the show as well. And also a little question out there for the Raw faithful who are listening along. Saipan film obviously is out in Ireland, and there's been lots to talk about that. Kevin Kilban done a fantastic little piece I saw in the Times this week, and has been on Today FM as well, chatting about the inconsistencies with what actually happened over there in Saipan back in 2002. So just want to know, put it out there. Have you gone and seen it? What did you think of it? First impressions. We're going to be doing quite a bit on Saipan because we're hopefully going to have a bit of insight into the making of the film and the kind of people involved in it as well on future episodes. So
be good to ask questions like that, won't it? Ask us. You'll have kind of Kilban as reference being like,
yeah,
I know it depends who you speak to, but like, it'd be good to ask, like, did you know about this? Were you told that this wasn't true, but you had to play along to it and stuff? So it was a good, yes.
I've seen it. I went to a screening in London. I've spoken to you lads about it before as well. But it left me overall with a really sadness of watching it and thinking, God, we were so close in 2002 World Cup. I mean, it is dramatization. It is exaggerated. It's quite comical as well. Fantastic soundtrack, brilliant use of music in it, and even some of the bits of that, just the people involved in it. They wanted to make the film, and they were obviously Irish, and people in the production team kind of knew people, and like so they went to Oasis and went to Noel Gallagher. Is one story where they asked, "Can we use one of their songs in it?" And Noel went, "Yeah, just sort that out." And they got it for a really good. You normally have to pay a lot of money to use big artist songs in films and stuff, but they did that and they managed to get quite a good deal on it, so because they really thought it was important to use in the film. And a lot of nostalgia, of course, of it. Fantastic performances from Aina Hardwick and Steve Coogan. How they set up Mick is a little bit uncomfortable for me, to be honest, but some really funny little bits in it, so I would recommend going to see it because it's an Irish football film and we're passionate about Irish football, and it's an interesting story.
We'll
One of
do
the
a
big
video
stories
on
of
it,
the
won't
World
we?
Cup, of course. Oh yeah, of course
We will do
yeah,
it because
without a doubt.
Dave said he's going to go see it when it comes out in England, and I've decided I'll hold off watching until then, so the three of us can.
Him. He won't go. He just only if he can get a free ticket is when he goes. That lad.
But also, did you watch just because a bit of Irish connection with Macclesfield beating beating Crystal Palace at the weekend, which was
that's the biggest shock, isn't it? On paper, it would be against the winners, and then also the distances, obviously, between the leagues and stuff.
Yeah, it's meant to be. Everyone's been the biggest shock ever. And it was good to see Lewis Lacey at left back from Macclesfield. Obviously, his younger brother Shea. Everyone knows about Shea, but especially getting sent off last night with my tweet. Actually, did you see it, Martin? Where I said that England should see his character after that and decide he's not the type of character they want. And a lot of people fell for it. Actually, a lot of people fell for it, and a lot of people were taking the piss out of him, saying, "How you fallen for this?" It's obvious that he's Irish, but his younger brother or his older brother, a couple of years older, played at left back. Excellent. He thought he'd done very well. A couple of lovely roulettes around a couple of very experienced Premier League players, and he's a player probably to watch out for the future. Maybe playing in green because I know he wants to play for Ireland. His family wants him to play for Ireland, and if given the opportunity, he's not going to get it. Was play for Maxwell, like he's still like underage to play for the 21s, but he's not going to get picked while he's playing for Macclesfield. But he has probably put himself in a better shop window now, particularly with his age profile. A lot of probably EFL clubs might see that now and think, oh, he done really well against Palace. He's still a very young player. He's probably a player we could take a gamble on, bring him in. But yeah, very well. And obviously, Wayne Rooney's brother was the manager. But yeah, it was good to see Macclesfield get that win. And did you see Cameron Borthwick-Jackson came on for Lacey for the last 10 minutes? Ex-Man United player. Was a bit of a throwback, yeah. But yeah, fair play to Macclesfield. And it was good. Something I'm saying is the beauty of probably the FA Cup. You see them sort of shock results, which makes it still modern football a bit watchable.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, definitely. Right. Obviously, the transfer window's open, and that's where we're going to start. Because obviously, we're going to see how the Irish players or anyone. Lots of speculation. I know a few questions coming in already for Connor of lads who might be on the move. But as I said, our lead story this evening, Gavin Bazunu confirmed has gone on loan from Southampton to Stoke up to the end of the season. That is as a result of kind of injuries, I think, to the Stoke goalkeeper. But I think, Connor, is he not just jumping on the Boston Noel bandwagon and he wants to play with Boston?
No, he wants to play with Jack Bonham. No, but yeah,
happy with the move. I think it's good.
I think it's a brilliant move. Like we were arguing about last week about it on here, and we were saying that Championship teams would want him. I was making the argument that they wouldn't, and I still feel that way. But I think it's come at probably the best possible time. Like the Israeli fella came in at the weekend, made a couple of saves that people were like, "Oh, what a save! What a save!" One of them was like he palmed it back out to a lad in the middle of the box, and he shot again, and he made a save from that. And it was the sort of thing that if Bazunu had made them saves, they would have been saying, "Oh, that's dreadful goalkeeping, palming it in the middle of the box." But other than, I think it's a brilliant move for Gat. Like I was saying, that he has to get out. Like he had to get out of Southampton. He cannot. Even if he was still going to be number one, I still felt he had to get out of there because he was making too many mistakes, and you could tell his mentality there and his headspace was just not in the right place. It was just he needed to change his scenery, and I think it is somehow he's left Southampton in a better position than what he was at the start of the month, and I did not see that happening because it was looking real doom and gloom. And thankfully, that injury to Victor Johansson, who in my opinion is the best keeper in the Championship, got that injury, is out for at least 2 months anyway, maybe the rest of the season with a shoulder injury, and it's given Gavin a chance to go to a club that are really thriving in the Championship this season. Or Mark Robbins has an excellent defense in front of him, even though like Boston's had to play at left back, centre back, right back in the back four this season because of injuries. They're always so solid no matter what. And it'll be a big positive now. Chambadu's back from injury. I believe Aaron Cresswell is back before the end of the month, and it'll make them even stronger at the back, and then it'll give Gavin probably a bit more confidence in his back four in front of him. I think it'll help him get into a different scenery, a different club. That maybe if he starts well in his first 2, 3 games, the fans will take to him. They'll be chanting, "Oh, Gavin Bazunu," and they'll be loving him. But the only worry I have though is they have an option to buy for 8 million, which I at this stage would say it's like a 5% chance they will trigger that option. Not to anything because his performances are anything, because I don't think like if he'll do bad, like if he does brilliantly, I think
Mm.
it's just a thing of Johansson. I think it's just Johansson is their main man in goal. He's a leader of that club. They love him. The fans love him. The staff love him. The players love him. That like they're not going to sign Gavin to be their number two, or just sign him to sell him again this summer. Like I think it'll just be a thing. It's only if unless Bazunu turns into a world class keeper between now and the end of the season, or Johansson has to move on this summer or wants to move on. But I don't see that happening, to be honest with you. Especially if Stoke get like playoffs or something, it'll entice someone like Johansson to stay. But yeah, I'm delighted for Gavin to get this move because it was just torture for him at Southampton, and it was horrible for us to watch as fans that he wasn't playing well. It wasn't going well for him. He just felt horrible from this. Like you just need to get yourself out of there, and I think this is the correct move at the correct time for him.
Yeah, I think even the fans are starting to get on his back. Social media very negative about him and stuff. He lost his place there before, obviously injury. Then went to Standard Liège, didn't work out with the injury, of course, coming back, and then he's got in as number one again, but then made a few mistakes and the stats aren't good, so they're on him again, straight away. So that's a very difficult thing for a young lad to do, and he is in goalkeeper terms certainly very young. So I don't think it's the end for him. Of course, fantastic move for him, and good for our Irish hopes. Obviously working with. King Boston there, and yeah, looking forward to seeing how that develops. And they've got a good cup draw, and if he gets in as number one there, you never know. Like Stoke, a good side, and it'd be interesting to follow him. So yeah, wish him the very best of luck for there,
Yeah.
and glad
It'll
in a
help
way
him
that
to be
he's
in a. It'll help them maybe to be in a more thriving team as well. I know there's not a huge pile between themselves and Southampton, but I think it'll help that they're more probably an upbeat dressing room, a more positive dressing room. But to be in that he'll go in, it'll be one win and like one clean sheet, and it'll be all well and good, and they'll be all happy with him. So I think it's pretty. I'm surprised it hasn't been announced yet because it seemed like he was um traveled to Stoke yesterday to have his medical
Mm.
and stuff. So hopefully, unless there was something wrong with that, but which I could imagine there isn't. But I'm surprised it wasn't announced some stage today. But I'm sure it'll be announced very soon, and it'll be one though if he moves in the summer for 8 million, it'll be another one that Shamrock Rovers benefit from again because obviously they're entitled to a lot of money. They made a lot of money off the first deal, and probably I didn't think they'd get 8 million out an option for Stoke to buy him for, but I'm really happy with this. I'm sure you are as well. I'm sure
Yeah, yeah.
people in the comments will be happy with how Gavin has done.
Yeah, okay. And just onto a bit of unfortunate injury news. Hopefully nothing too serious to worry about. But Evan Ferguson, he came off in Roma's game the other day. Any news on that injury or what it was? And it was a bit disappointing.
The the
After
chat,
doing so well recently, he's
yeah,
just had a little bit of a spell now on the sidelines.
yeah, it's quite it is disappointing, isn't it? I'm trying like watching the game the other day. I was looking forward to watching it, and I was I was looking forward to seeing another Evan Ferguson masterclass against what was it? It was against Sassuolo, and I was thinking he's gonna have a big game here. And then opening minutes of the game, got a knee to his. I thought it looked like his glute, his upper glute, looked to his arse, and then um, he was hobbling and he was hobbling, and then he started to run a bit all right, but you still tell maybe when he was standing still, you could see him like trying to wriggle his, trying to get rid of the pain, trying to get rid of like a dead. It was almost like it was a dead arse. It looked like from our point of view. And then a cross came in the 35th minute, and he like kind of hooked his leg at it to try and get his leg, and then it just whatever way it just the pain was just too bad, and he couldn't continue. So it was just it looked like a dead leg, dead lower back. And then it came out today in the Italian press that it was a back contusion. Something like that. You don't know how bad it is. It seems like it wasn't too bad because he was able to like it wasn't like he couldn't walk. He could walk off and stuff. And it was one of those really disappointing ones where it's like, what can you do? Like you can't blame a lad. Like I know like when lads get injured with muscle injuries, like people are like, oh, that lad's is useless. He's always injured. He's always injured something. But something like that was just so freakishly unlucky. Like you don't
Mm.
mean to get kneed to the back of lower back, or your upper glute, wherever the damage was initially done. And like for it to happen like that in the circumstances was so disappointing after getting two man of the matches in the last 3 weeks with the scoring goals, getting assists, looking back to his best, looking real sharp. It was really, really disappointing to see him get that injury. And like it was my Saturday evening football of watching Serie A. Kind of, I just turned the match off after that because I was thinking I can't watch
Yeah.
these boys because like Roma are a really tough watch. Like
Mm.
they're not a great side at all. Like, and like even though they're good at getting just over the job, but yeah, it's quite disappointing.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And hopefully we're back very soon because yeah,
Oh,
we're
we've
just
big
trying to.
injury. We've transfer news on though on Evan, which is a bit of a worry, isn't it? News
Mm.
that has come out in the last 24 hours from Fabrizio Romano in relation to Evan Ferguson. Oh, Evan Ferguson, sorry, but in relation to Roma and strikers, which is my worry. Because obviously Artem Dopic is out for, it looks like it could be 2 months with an injury. So it would mean that Evan Ferguson is the only fit senior striker at the club, which would put you naturally as a manager, as a club, especially when Evans picked up a couple of injuries. Obviously, he's missing tomorrow's game with that injury they've announced. So we'd hope he's back at the weekend, but we haven't got anything confirmed. But they are signing. They've made an agreement. Romano tweeted this evening. Roma and Marseille have reached a total agreement for Robinho Faz, €20 million plus add-ons up to €25 million package, and it looks like he's going to be heading to Rome tomorrow for his medical. A young striker, young French striker. Seems like a decent talent. I don't know how good he is. I haven't watched him, to be honest, but he seems like he's done well. He was kind of second choice at Marseille, so maybe he was meant to be brought in as a backup. But the real bit of worry, maybe that you think, Martin, is that it looks like they're going to be signing Daniel Malin on loan with an option to buy. Everyone knows Daniel Malin from obviously
Mm.
Aston Villa. He was Ollie Watkins' backup, was very good. Dortmund has actually been quite good for Villa when he's playing, when he gets a chance. I think he's actually looked really good. And it looks like he's going to sign for them on loan with an option to buy, like what Evan is as well. So that's the only worry. Like, will they feel that? Well, because it was obvious we're trying to get rid of Dobbik this month. They were trying to get money for him, or trying to get him out on loan, get his wages off the books. But now that he's injured and he's out for 2 months, they can't get rid of Dobbik, and they might feel, well, if Ferguson's picking up injuries and he's not the type of striker like, as Troy Deeney was saying, it was like, Gasparini was, I seen
Mm.
Troy Deeney was on one of those American, and he was like, he feels so bad for Ferguson because Gasparini keeps being like, oh, Ferguson isn't the type of striker that I want. He's not the type of striker I want. But he's like, he can't change how he physically is. He can't make himself smaller and lighter. Like, that's just not how it is. So maybe like that Malin, because Malin's that real quick in behind striker. He's a bit smaller and rapid. But will that mean that they'll try and get Evan off the books because they can't get Dobbik off the books? Make an agreement for Brighton to go back. And if that happened, Martin, I would be absolutely delighted, because the only really fit striker to have at Brighton at the moment is Danny Welbeck, who obviously is doing brilliantly well. But Ruter kind of plays as a false nine
Mhm.
when he plays, and your boy Zolis tore his ACL, the Greek fella that they signed this summer. So it would make room for Ferguson to go back if they decided to go back there, and I would love it. But I think he'd do so much better, especially he seems, as he done an interview, I think, with Sports Bible midweek, he done a lot better. He's doing a lot better mentally and physically at the moment. He was
Mm.
saying about he felt he'd lost himself for a while at Brighton, but yeah, if that happens, it means he's go back. I would not be worried. I don't think it will mean it, but it is something to think of, maybe because Dobbik won't be going, and Dobbik will be back in 2 months, like, or he will be back before the end of the season. Does that mean that like they'd want four strikers really at the club before the end of the season? Will they try and phase Evan out? So I don't know, but it is, he has been doing well. They do rate
Mm.
him. The fans rate him over there, but there is pressure on him to deliver. And I imagine they have until the end of the month to decide.
Yeah, I think that was the key thing, wasn't it? We spoke about it in a previous episode where it was about Brighton asking like that it was to the end of the season and it has to be agreed, doesn't it, if they're going to
Yeah.
terminate early, which happens a lot with these loan deals as well. So, yeah, I think both clubs can agree to terminate. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Obviously, we're following it here on Lansdowne Raw, of course,
What do you
and
think,
make sure.
Martin? Do you think because I want to get your opinion. Would you, now they're bringing in two strikers, would you think Evan should go back and go somewhere else, or go back to Brighton, or do you think he should stay and wait and see until the end of the month?
I think wait to the end of the month and see, because I think teams will come in for him and be chatting to his agent and going, look, this is the situation here. His agent must be looking at that for him, you'd think, and saying, this is not good that they're bringing in loads of players. I mean, Zersky as well was linked, wasn't he, with Roma? That's probably not going to happen.
He was their number one. He was that tar, and then Malin has kind of had to replace him because, obviously because
but if I was his agent,
United won't go to him. Yeah.
If I was his agent, I'd be going, this isn't going to be good. Is like we're taking a risk in the World Cup? Yeah, I mean, we know that it's Evan, right? So we know he's going to be picked for Ireland anyway. But we want him playing, and if I was his agent, I'd be saying, look, he needs to be sharp. He needs to be playing. Look, it's been brilliant, but this is where your plans are with Roma. Look, let's mutually agree this and get it done though before the end of the window. His agent should be flat out working on his behalf now to get him a move. Really, if it's looking like this,
if it's
not a slight on him at all. That's it's not a slight on him, but it's just the injury.
I think he's better than all them strikers. He's up his ceiling and stuff, but it's just the style of player that Gasperini wants playing as his number 9, and maybe just Evan isn't that. But he has done quite well in recent weeks. But it doesn't help that he plays with a lot of players around him that don't like to pass the ball. But I think we just have to wait and see. There'll be loads, as you said, there'll be loads of clubs that want Evan, and even like Napoli keeps getting thrown about. Napoli keeps certainly. But I don't understand why they'd want to get Evan, to be honest with you, because they already have Hoyland, who's doing quite well. They already have Lukaku, he's a legend in it.
Hoyland, though, wouldn't he? On that deal, and Lukaku as well. Like
especially on I don't understand. It just wouldn't make sense. Especially it just keeps getting thrown about by the likes of Di Marzio, who's one of the top guys in Italy, and I just don't understand it. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see, because and the thing is, we hope that he'll be back for the game at the weekend. Those other 2 lads will not start at the back the weekend. Evan will start if he's fit and ready to go. And like it's not like he'll have missed a month where they'll have to phase him back in. They can just throw him straight back in, because once that pain's gone, it's gone. It's not a hamstring injury where you worry about it happening again. You kind of just, one of the things, you kind of just shake it off and you're ready to go again. And obviously this cup game tomorrow has come too soon. Maybe he might have been able to play if it was a bigger game, but because it's a Coppa Italia game, maybe they've decided it's best to leave him until the weekend.
Yep. Okay. Well, we'll be monitoring it all here, of course. And also the transfer window. We'll have lots of videos, obviously, because we know a lot of speculation, lots of lads possibly getting moves. We'll have it all covered here on our weekly live show, but also we have our midweek recorded show that we throw up to you and let you know the latest news. So make sure you have subscribed to the channel. Follow us on all our social media platforms. That's Instagram, Facebook, Lansdowne Road, and also Connor at Rep Tracker, where you get the latest news on who's the latest under 14 player who's just scored a penalty with his left foot, which is my usual joke. JJ Gabriel, I see he's hard training. I saw that one earlier. Connor, did you see that?
Are you watching videos of children training?
It came up, well, an underage Man United player who qualifies for Ireland. That's your bread and butter, isn't it? Anyway, I might have to rely on the real Rep Tracker to give me that. But anyway, we're going to come on to OBIG. This is where we find out how the lads got on over the weekend and in recent games. So here we go. This is the goalkeepers who are all currently eligible for Ireland and playing regularly as well. And I'm interested to see who's messed this up and who we've omitted this week. But here we go. Goalkeepers. Okay, so starting off with the goalies, as I said, Queeving Kelleher, not in the squad for Brentford in their FA Cup win. Max O'Leary, an unused sub in Bristol City. Josh Keeley, 90 minutes in a 2-1 win versus Stevenage for Luton Town. Mark Travers, an unused sub for Everton. And Gavin Bazunu, not in the squad, but he's obviously speculation, as we've said, linking him to that move to Stoke.
Yeah.
So no goalkeepers in action. Yeah, crazy.
Josh Keeley, but yeah, it was Josh. Yeah, that was it.
And he continues to do very well, doesn't he?
Doing well. They're doing well. Let's see him in action this weekend. But yeah, he's doing really well at the moment. Big win for them against Stevenage, because they needed that win against Stevenage, who have been doing quite well this season. So yeah, doing quite well. We still have to get Killian Cahill added, who drew 1-1 with Cardiff the other day. Dave, I know Dave's in the comments. I see him. Dave, you're going to have to make a few edits, so big and stuff, and a few pictures, because a few lads have obviously switched clubs. So, Dave, do what you're meant to be here to do, and just
busy time for Dave as well.
He's meant to be the guy in the background who does the work once we are the stars of the show.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, right, here we go. This is the defenders. Here we go. Okay, Robbie Brady out injured for Preston North End, but I've heard that he's recovering quite well. John Egan, 15 minutes penalty win versus Blackburn for Hull. Seamus Coleman still out injured. for Everton. We've got Nathan Collins, an unused sub for Brentford. Matt Doherty, 90 minutes in a 6-1 win for Wolves versus Shrewsbury in the FA Cup. Joshua Honohan, not in the squad for Lincoln City. Jake O'Brien, 120 minutes in that penalty loss versus Sunderland for Everton. Andrew Omobamidele, out injured at the moment with Strasbourg. Darragh O'Shea, not in the squad for Ipswich Town. Liam Scales, 90 minutes in a 4-0 win for Martin O'Neill's Celtic versus Dundee United. James Abankwah, 90 minutes in a 5-1 loss versus Bristol City for Watford. Jimmy Dunn, 120 minutes, 2-1 loss versus West Ham in the FA Cup. Callum O'Dowd, no game for Ferencváros. Mark McGuinness, 90 minutes, an assist, and a 4-3 loss versus Mansfield. And a photo. I saw him in a photo. Ryan Manning, not in the squad for Southampton. Erin Cashin, 75 minutes, penalty loss versus Hull for Blackburn. And Selmo Garcia McNulty, 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Twente. And Will Ferry, 90 minutes in a 4-0 loss versus Celtic for Dundee. And Corian Darban, 78 minutes, 2-1 loss versus Parma. And where I mentioned the comment there, having a photo, it was our very good friend of the show, Jason Fitzsimmons, who I'm going to fire up his comment here. Fitzsimon, sorry, I will say that. Cannon got no minutes for Sheffield United yesterday, but more importantly, Jason, hope you're well, mate. We saw him in his usual photos with all the Sheffield United Irish lads. So fantastic for him. So yeah,
and he was at Burnley. He was at Burnley against Millwall on Saturday, and he was at Liverpool against Barnsley tonight. So 3 days, 3 matches. God knows how many jerseys he's bought, but he's
exactly right. That's the question. We want to know how many shirts did you buy, Jason, over the weekend?
It might be OAE's because he was at Anfield, so maybe he's.
Oh, it might. Yeah, he might be not watching out. Anyway, I'm sure we'll get an update from him. Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely get an update at some stage. But anyway, busy actually. Some lads obviously usually got their break. Corey and Darby, good to see, make his second start in Serie A for Lecce. They lost 2-1, but they got 2. They were down to 9 men, so it was good to see him get another 90, or was it 79 minutes at left back? Another option for Ireland, which is good to see. I know you're on about. I've heard Robbie Brady's back. Are you just hearing off what Paul Heckenbottom
manager
was saying? I was saying the way you were sounding, it was like some inside source that was just the manager in the press conference.
Yeah. Right.
Great to see Cashin make his debut. Great to see Cashin make his debut, Dave. I seen Blackburn put out a post today to say how solid he was on. He said it was a very solid debut, the picture of him playing. So good to see him get out. And I know Conor Reardon, ex-21s international as well, played most of the minutes for Blackburn as well beside him in the back four. And Sean McLaughlin came on off the bench. But a big win for Holland. Obviously, John Egan came on off the bench for them as well, and as did Cahill McCarthy for the 21s. Liam Scales, surprise, as soon as Martin O'Neill comes back in, gets his place straight back. Done very well for Celtic. Fans actually are liking him again. He actually got an assist as well, which I forgot to put. But yeah, a good weekend for Scales in that 4-0 win. Bad one, obviously, for Will Ferry, who's getting joined by Neil Farrugia, or as Dave likes to call him, Neil Farrugia. Dundee United, he's joining them from Barnsley, who obviously wasn't there tonight because he's signing for Dundee United. Omobamidele, I don't know what the situation is with him. I think it's just a knock. I can't find anywhere online to find out what the problem is with him, but I believe he's okay. Like there's nothing wrong with him in terms of like long term, and I'm sure he'll be all right for the weekend. And it was a cup game against a lower league team in France that like they won like 6-0 or something, so it wasn't a game to risk him in anyway. So I'm sure he'll be all right. Other than that, Martin, nothing really stand to. Jimmy Dunn obviously played against West Ham. They lost late in the injury time, didn't they? Jacob Bryan actually played centre half this weekend, which was good to see. But I believe he didn't actually play that well. Played left centre back and that lost to Sunderland on penalties. Did you see the penalties, by the way, from Beto and Thierry Barry? Absolutely 2 of the worst penalties you'll ever see. But yeah, and hopefully might get to see in the flesh Josh Honahan make his debut for Lincoln this week. He only started training with them last night, so it would be good to hopefully see him make his Lincoln debut against Luton on Saturday.
Okay, brilliant. All right, now we're going to come on to the midfielders. Here we go. Right, we've got Jason Knight, 59 minutes in a 5-1 win versus Watford for Bristol City. Killian Phillips, 45 minutes in a 2-0 loss versus Falkirk for St Mirren. Will Smallbone, cousin Will, out injured for Millwall. Jack Taylor, 90 minutes and 2-1 win versus Blackpool for Ipswich. Josh Cullen, sadly out injured for the rest of the season. Finn Azaz not in the squad for Southampton. Mark Sykes, injured for Bristol City at present. Jason Malumbi, not in the squad for West Brom. Andy Moran, waiting, it says, and he's still obviously at Brighton. Jamie McGrath, a 51 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Motherwell. Alan Brown, 90 minutes in a 3-1 loss versus Fulham for Middlesbrough. And Boston Lowell, 90 minutes in a 1-0 win versus Coventry for Stoke City. Connor Coventry, 66 minutes in the 5-1 loss versus Chelsea for Charlton. And Joe Hodge, 67 minutes in a 1-0 loss versus Morenza. And that's our midfielders. Easy for me to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did have a comment from which, someone went to the Fulham game, didn't they? And who was it? Alex Gilbert, talking about him. It said someone called Davey Dunn. I don't know who that is. Alex Gilbert was shite, by the way. But that is Dave, who went to a game recently over the weekend. Went to his old stomping ground, Fulham.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
I was getting the full on commentary. I don't know if he was watching the game because he was too busy texting me exactly a running commentary. So I don't know if he actually knew Gilbert, because I actually looked at Middlesbrough fans thought he actually was quite decent. But obviously, as Dave did acknowledge, he was quite good on the ball at times and then struggled off the ball, which would probably describe him. Quite good on the ball, but quite defensively, quite weak. But it was an injury. It was a weekend of more injuries other than just Ferguson. Killian Phillips came off at half-time, dislocated his shoulder for St Mirren, and I'm sure that's the sort of injury it would take to get Killian Phillips off the pitch. He's that type of warrior. Jamie McGrath went off injured after 51 minutes, first thing as well. I was trying to search it there to find out what the story was, but all that's coming up is do you remember your boy who said that Jimmy McGrath, hopefully he'll get into the Scotland team, and he slipped on black ice and injured himself, and someone commented on it. Speedy recovery, Ewan. Hopefully you're back in time to see Jimmy McGrath make his debut for Scotland. But I can't find what the injury is to Jamie McGrath, to be honest. But I'm sure but I'm not sure because you never know what he says. But I hope it's not serious. But other than that, Finn Azaz, I know Finn Azaz, Ryan Manning, Gav Bazunu. I know Gav Bazunu now in hindsight because of the move, but the other two were left out for rest reasons weekend. I was really hopeful. Romeo Akachukwu was on the bench, a player I really, really rate. A superb young talent. Was on the bench, was due to make it wasn't his debut because he got an appearance last year in the League Cup, but would have been his FA Cup debut. Under the 21s manager has moved into the senior role, obviously, and then got the job on a permanent basis. And from everything I heard, he was trying to push Romeo into the first team whilst Will Still was the manager, was really trying to get him a chance in the first team, and now he's the gaffer. And he was going to, when they were playing Doncaster, they were 3-0 up, and it looked like Romeo was going to get a chance to come on, and then went 3-1, 3-2, and it was a bit of a mess. And then I believe the manager apologised to Romeo after, saying that your teammates effed it up on you from getting meaningful minutes, because I'm sure he would have got half an hour if it was still 3-0. But Doncaster decided to get 2 goals. But I believe he's going to be with the first team again this weekend, and they'll decide then whether he'll go out and loan or not, because he's one of those players. He is very, very close to that first team because of how good of a player he is, and I think he is an excellent player. Other than that, Boston Lowell played at left back again because Stoke don't have a left back at the moment because Cresswell's injured, which sums up his luck that they keep. Why couldn't it be like a striker got injured or something, so then he can still play midfield? But still no update yet on Andy Moran's future. Connor Coventry done quite well against Chelsea in the cup, which was quite pleasing, obviously, because we're lack on number 6 now with Josh Cullen injured. So another player himself, probably Boston, or 2 lads that might want to try and put their name in the hat for that. Joe Hodge got another start for Tondela at the weekend to shut Dave up because he was giving out about him. I think it could be the first time in a long time he started 2 games in a row, because obviously we were saying the other day about him coming in, playing 1 week, and then he'd completely disappear for 3 weeks. But it was good to see him get another start the weekend. Other than that, it was quite quiet. A lot of lads just didn't really play, were injured and stuff. So yeah, quieter weekend for the midfielders.
Okay, right. We're going to come on to the attackers, and then we're going to get onto your comments. Here we go. Okay, so our forwards. Festia Basile, no game for Istanbul. Başakşehir. Can never pronounce that. Evan Ferguson, injured, 39 minutes, 2-0 win versus Sassuolo. Adam Eder out injured with Swansea for a few months. Casey McAteer, 17 minutes, in a 2-1 win versus Blackpool. Troy Parrott, 79 minutes, a 1-0 win versus Volendam. Sammy Schmodik, 17 minutes, 2-1 win versus Blackpool, Ipswich Town. Sinclair Armstrong, 10 minutes in that 5-1 win versus Watford with Bristol City. Mikey Johnson, 104 minutes in the penalty shootout win versus Swansea. Rocco Vata, game postponed for Watford. Tom Cannon, unused sub, Sheffield United. We'll go on to Rocco. We'll go back to that one. Chidozie Ogbene, Sheffield United. I don't think he was in the squad, was he? Tyler Goodrum, injured for Oxford United. Adomo Emaku, 90 minutes in the 5-1 loss versus Burnley for Millwall. Johnny Kenny, 18 minutes in the 4-0 win versus Dundee United for Celtic. And Louis Barry, injured for Sheffield United at present. Right. Rocco. Was he not in the squad?
Yeah,
was he in the squad?
He's back, but no, he wasn't in the squad.
Okay.
But yeah, that was meant to be that he's just. But he is. I did see what as I did say to you last week that he is back in training and stuff.
Yeah.
But I did see Watford actually posted today. Look who's back, in training. So they're starting to publicly say it now. So I'm sure it'll probably be this weekend. He'll make his return to first team action. And Watford are in an unbelievable position in the league at the moment. I know the cup game didn't go at the weekend, but they pretty much rotated their whole team. Bank played right back the other day as well. So like they completely rotated and kind of tried to do something different in the cup, which didn't work out. They got battered. Unfortunately, probably for Sinclair, Emile Reese, who Sinclair has kind of took his place in the last 4 or 5 weeks and been the main man up front. Ended up scoring a bloody hat-trick at the weekend. But it was more about, I would say, maybe because he was playing against a Watford team that were just all over the place, and he was unbelievable. But fair play to him, he got his hat-trick. But other than that, it was quite quiet for the weekend. Good to see Sammy Smaddox make his return, even though he has been linked with other clubs on loan. Maybe he might want to do that if he's not going to start every game, but he was starting every game under McKenna, so there's no reason maybe we can't break back in. Although Jadon Philogene is their main man, one of the players of the season so far in the championship, playing kind of maybe where he'd play. But other than that, for attackers, quite quiet. Troy Parrott seemed to. I didn't watch the game, but on stats wise, he missed a couple of probably big chances and didn't get his goal that he usually would get in the Dutch league. Ogbene which is big news. Ogbene is back. He's back in training. He's back in action. Although Chris Wilder said the Mansfield game was too soon, but he has said he is in his plans, so they do want him, which is big news for us, which is important for us that he's going to be playing for them. Although if he had to leave and go to an MLS club until the summer, I wouldn't be too annoyed. But yeah, I'm happy for Ogbene to be back because we all want him playing and doing well. And I'm sure we'll see a few others return to action this weekend with the FA Cup and everyone back to their league action and playing maybe where they're used to and going back to their normal systems and their normal teams. And we'll see maybe lads get back scoring again, which is important because there's not much to talk about when lads aren't scoring and lads aren't pressing. And we're missing the lads for obviously Adam Eade is out until end of February, early March. So it'll be a race against time for him to get back in and keep trying to get maybe holding his spot in the Irish team at this stage because there's a couple of lads that are on his shoulder to take his spot.
Okay, right. We're going to approach the last 10 minutes or so of the show now. So do get your comments in. Any questions? Thank you for viewing tonight so far. And just a little reminder to you, if you do want to subscribe to Raw Plus, you can do so. The show notes are there. Show notes are there. How you can do that: £5 a month, whatever currency you pay, and you get extra content in there. State of play. You get Connor's team of the week, players of the week, all that kind of chat in there. And you can also support the page, buy us a coffee, link in the description as well. You still enter last week of our competition to win a fabulous signed Jameson, full bottle of Jameson. So you can drink the whiskey, keep the bottle on the shelf. Perfect for the man cave or bar, perfect gift as well. But you can also get a Roma shirt with that. £10 entry. That's the last week of the entry for the competition. And you can also support us by purchasing our fantastic beer coaster collection. Heimer, Coleman, Parrott, and Collins. Fantastic little cardboard cutouts of those, really high quality. And we put in some sheets of the stickers of the same design as well, which are perfect to adorn any little lamppost in Czechia. They're going to look absolutely perfect there, and that's what I'm going to be doing with my set. Yeah. So you can do that all in the show notes on how you can help us grow the show. Yes, Connor.
Also, I'm not happy, Martin. We haven't even reached 10 likes on YouTube.
Well, there you
on
go.
this video.
I can't keep having a go at people.
How many likes do you need to like get us to?
We need to get to 15, 20, don't we? I mean, 10
Yeah,
minutes. We can do
20
that in
like
10 minutes. 20
we get us
likes. Come on,
20 likes before the hour mark.
YouTube, get on it now. And we've got your comments to come. So we'll have a bit of crack with this. And yeah, thank you again for your support of the show. We've got loads and loads of stuff planned in 2026. We've got a few live shows lined up, some really good guests as well for some live some interviews as well. So we've got it all covered here. So make sure you do subscribe to the channel, follow us on all our socials, and give us your support. And we're going to come on now to your comments. Right, here we go. Right, we've had a few comments. We've got a little bit of people joining late this evening, or some people dropping off, which is absolutely fine because you can get this back on Spotify and listen back to the show. Of course, watch it back. It's on YouTube as per all our other episodes as well. Worth watching, sharing with your friends if you find something funny. We do our clips as well, so make sure you do support us that way as well. But we've had a few comments. We've covered some of this already, but we'll cover it a little bit quickly, some of these questions. But what's the crack with Zeffy? Think he'll end up in the League of Ireland, says Cormac Momo. Any news?
No, I think he'll end up in EFL.
Okay, we covered this one earlier. Is Napoli a good move for Evan Ferguson? Had a little chat about that earlier. Just obviously with the Roma speculation, probably not good.
No, I don't think so.
And I'm just going to jump ahead to this one, which is we've covered a little bit of Evan Ferguson already tonight. But Clem Fandango 619 says, "What does Mullen's potential move to Roma mean for Ferguson?" Sorry if you already covered this. I've just started listening, but we did cover it a little bit, so you can go back and listen to it in a bit more detail. But go, Connor, quickly.
No, you go because I explained it all. I want to see if you remember what. Go on.
I'm busy producing the show. Right, Mallon's going. He was back up to the Villa player, Watkins. Yeah. And he was also speculation linking Roma with him or Zerski. But Mallon's gone now, and it's going to impact on Evan Ferguson's time, possibly because he's been signed for 20 million. Is that right?
No,
No, not him. That's the other
the
one.
Marseille boys, 20 million.
The loan, yeah, okay. Right, well, he's been signed anyway, and it's another striker, and he might be one of 4 strikers now who will be competing with Evan Ferguson for the starting spot at Roma. So that's where it's going to impact him. And you can go back and listen to that, as I'm going to do afterwards, to see if I got it right.
Yeah, but the thing is, we won't know really until the end of the month, has it? Because obviously it looks like that Marseille fella's signing the next day or two. Malin will probably be before the end of the week. So it'll be interesting how it'll work out for Ferguson. We'll know before the end of the month if he's starting enough, and then if not, it might mean he might have to go back to Brighton, which I said I would be perfectly happy with.
Yeah, okay. Jason Fitzsimons on his way home from Anfield. Hi lads, I can confirm live from Anfield, Didsey didn't score, and he's also sent me a little video clip of King Didsey at the at Anfield. And I'm gonna post that later. I'm gonna nick that off you, Jason. So thanks for that. And also he said Cannon got no minutes for Sheffield United yesterday. Jason, fantastic support of the show as usual. He's on his way home from Anfield, so safe commute.
But he's on his way home.
Anfield. Yeah, he's on his way home. I'm saying
wherever his
commute
hotel,
home.
wherever
Safe commute home. Liverpool, all right. Oh no, you love Liverpool. I went to. What did you do there? Uni was it or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, and he's just seen my message because I did message him, and I asked him how many shirts he'd bought this trip, and he goes, he only picked up a Cullen Burnley jersey, and he was tempted to get a Chio White Sheffield United kit. Well, fair play. I knew you'd pick up a shirt, so fair play. Keep that collection growing. Michael Mahoney, one of our Raw Plus supporters, says, "Evening lads, evening Michael. Thank you for your support." Zed Leplin 3737. Are we improving on paper as a team since the last window? Good question. Playing. Sinclair's playing, scored.
Yeah, that's what I would say overall, yes, but then the Josh Cullen injury is just so big for us. That's the problem. If we took away the Josh Cullen injury, I would say definitely because obviously
and Ida. Let's be fair to Ida as well.
Ida's injured, but he's not your national. He's not going to start for us as such. But obviously with lads, Sinclair's doing well. Boston's been outstanding. Umobama Deli's been back playing really well. It looks like Robbie Brady's coming back before then. O'Dowd is back playing now, who's obviously another option there. Jason Knight's back playing. So we have improved in terms overall, but it is a kind of the Cullen thing, and obviously Ida as well. But Ida will be back in time, but Cullen won't. That's the real worry, though.
Okay, all right. Good answer to that one. Andrew Burnett, 1009. Big up, gents. Hi, Andrew. Thanks you for watching along. CFM 1991. Is Omar Bamadeli injured? He didn't feature in the last 2 games. Do you think he'll have a chance in starting in March?
No, I don't think he'll start, to be honest. I think he'll stick with his usual back 5. But if it was me, I would probably start him because he's brilliant on the ball. I think he's the highest pass accuracy in Europe for under 23, like 96% pass accuracy, which is mental
Yeah.
for a defender. But yeah, I don't think it'll be, I think, unless like O'Brien got injured or something. But I do think he possibly could be our best centre half.
It's going to be interesting for him, though, isn't it? I don't think we've really covered this, but, obviously with Rossini going to Chelsea, the impact of that on him as well. I mean, I know he's a very stop-start there, but this Chelsea model and then Strasbourg, the links and all this kind of thing, he's an exceptional player, Omar Bamadeli, and he's had moves and things that have not really worked out, but he's gone for big money. He's highly rated, obviously. If he got a run and stuff, you just don't know. I know Chelsea's a massive shout, but they do buy these players, don't they? They buy young lads, and they might.
They've turned into they're not a football club anymore. It's just to buy young lads in for cheaper.
Yeah.
Like they know they could get Omar Bamadeli in for 20 million, and then they could hope this. They know instantly they could sell him straight away in the morning for 40 million. So that's what they'll probably try and do. Rossini seemed to love him. He was making them captains for games.
He could go there. I think.
I wouldn't be shocked if he went there, but I just don't know. Like, and obviously Gary O'Neill's gone there as manager now, which is a bit of a different type. I don't know. He seems to be well liked, and I've seen that Gary O'Neill has watched back every single Wolves game that he's been at, and he's going around Europe watching games. So he seems to be a real student of the game, which will be good. But it does help with the likes of Omar Bamadeli going to these countries and having Gary O'Neill and Rossini, who are obviously Bamadeli's Irish, but English managers speaking the same language. They'll probably connect with Andrew more than they will with maybe other players, like French players, Italian, Brazilian, because of the language and stuff. So I do think maybe at the end of the season, you never know. But Andrew's obviously he's an excellent player, and I really it's just injuries have just halted him so much over the last 2-3 years. The Forest thing, obviously, he got thrown to the side by Nuno Espirito Santo for basically no reason last season before he got injured. So yeah, I hope everything turns around because he's a superb player, and he could end up at Chelsea. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, no, I think so as well. Right, at Good of God says, did he interview 10,000 subs? Yep, get supporting us, subscribe to the channel, and we'll make it
over. Did his comments come on Lansdowne Roar?
Yeah.
Instead of come to Besiktas, come to Roar.
Yeah, right. Glory to the fans. He says, evening guys, very disappointed with how Baz's career, obviously it's about Bazunu, is heading. When he came on the scene, thought he was the real deal. A few other little comments on this as well. Where was it there? And Snapper also just says he regressed since Kenny left the job. It's probably a bit harsh. I mean, he's had injuries, hasn't he, as well? He was number 1 for Ireland. Fantastic that moment as well, saving the Ronaldo penalty, but fantastic as well in Luxembourg away under Stephen Kenny when he made that fantastic save. Just the injury, I think, has killed him a little bit, but he's young, goalkeeper terms, Connor, isn't he, as we've said before?
Yeah, very
and
young.
We had a good chat about Bazunu last episode, so do go back and watch that one. But yeah, look, exceptional talent, and hopefully this is a real good move for him. Get out of there, be loved again, be in the Ireland squad, be loved again, and and push Kelleher as well. You have to have goalkeepers. It's such a unique position. You have to be able to push and have that competitive spirit between you, but you have to push each other as well. And one of you gets the spot, obviously, but be ready. And we've seen that over the years, Irish football history, especially goalkeepers. It shows we've had campaigns where Alan Kelly's had to play and rotated with Packy Bonner, and then or Shay Given, and he's come in then with David Ford's come in then, Shay Given come in and gone to the Euros instead of him. All those kind of things have happened, so it's crazy. And you just need to take your chance, and that may well happen again. You just don't know. Just chatting about Glorious Fan says he disagrees with you, Connor. I think the transfers is good news for Ferguson. These people all these players joining Roma. His loan overall has been good, and there'll be a queue of clubs for him, which I think there will be as well. Yeah, we've spoken about that. David Dunn covered this as well, so I don't mind giving more attention to it. But he was at Fulham against Borough the weekend, and he said Alex Gilbert was shite. Also, Neil Farouj is going to play in Scotland, says Martin Fitzpatrick. Hi, Martin, regular viewer and supporter of the show. Thank you. David also says Varugia. We've spoken about that one. Interesting, this one from Jason Fitzsimons again. Was no sign of Ogbenny in Sheffield. Ask McGuinness, was he there? He didn't even know. And he also said he got a ticket for Sheffield United's Festival Speech today. Should be good seeing the Irish lads in action.
Just I just checked there on the 24th. Just you're fairly clocking up there, Miles, are you? Just is he trying? Hopefully he's going with Aer Lingus, and you build up your, what do you call them, the points, air points, whatever.
Yeah.
So you have it ready for Mexico in the summer. You build up to get your free upgrade to first class. But for
the FAI suits.
Yeah. Well, Jason will surely have his FAI clubber on him, like he is a member of the FAI. He'll easily get away with it. He'll walk in, him and Carell will have the same stuff on, and he'll act like he is.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you do it. Right. Clem Fandango says he's certainly going to listen back. Yeah, that's just a reminder. Anything we've covered this evening, the whole show is recorded, released on Spotify, released here as well on YouTube. So you can go back and listen to it, or audio version on the way you ever get your podcast as well. And make sure you do give us a 5-star review on Spotify, but also like the show, follow it on all those platforms as well. It really does help us out with all those mad things that I don't really understand called algorithms. Anyway, glory to the fans. It looks like Parrott will be leaving AZ for the window. They've signed Hornkamp from Heracles. Big money by their standards. Is he Premier League bound? This is the last comment of the night, I think, Connor. So is Troy Parrott going to leave AZ?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Would you like him to move, Connor?
On
a bit of positivity, a bit of liveliness towards the end of the show.
I don't like. I want him to just keep playing and scoring goals, and like, yeah, I do want him to move and go on to bigger and better things, because he's above that level at this stage. But it's just, I don't know what a Prem at this stage, because I just don't know what Prem team will want a player in January, of his like stature yet. I think it would be like you'd be saying like a Leeds, who obviously they're going to stay up, but they have Calvert-Lewin, who's currently the best player in the world. So I don't see anyone, even like a Fulham, a Palace. They all have strikers that are good players. And like, then you'll be thinking, oh, would he go to like West Ham, who obviously they signed someone, or like a Burnley, like, and you're like, not going to Burnley. So unless it goes to, which he has been linked to Bundesliga teams in the past, if he went to like a Bundesliga team as such, or a top French team, I think that would be ideal. I don't know about the Prem yet, because I think there's a lot of clubs that don't know what they want and what they need in January, and he's better wait until the summer.
Yeah, no, I think so as well. We just need,
but they do. Yeah, like AZ, no, he's not going to be there after the summer. So maybe they brought in that Hornkamp now just to get the deal done, and they're banking that they know they're going to get good money for Troy in the summer. So there's no point panicking about, oh, we need the funds now, because and reality, their books will be done at the end of the year, and they'll be able to record the loss and the profit then, not now. Like, so I'm sure hopefully they'll be able to get something sorted. Obviously, hopefully early in the summer, because you don't like things dragging out, but there is a World Cup that's on.
Yeah, exactly. A World Cup that we're going to be at, Connor. Let's be positive. Right. Fantastic show this evening. Thank you again for the support. And we're almost at 1,000 viewers this evening on a very quiet kind of Monday night. But thank you for your support as always. Make sure you have subscribed to the show. Make sure as well, at the start of the show, I ask about Saipan. We haven't really chatted about it yet, but we're going to do a few videos on it. So make sure you go and see it so you can get more interactive with us when we give our views on that in the coming weeks. And yeah, thank you for your viewership this evening and support of the pod. It really does mean the world to us. We love absolutely doing this. And it's great that Dave's not on, because it just lets the dream team continue with our good work. Make sure if you haven't, if you've got any fantastic ideas for us to do, any videos you want us to chat about in particular, that can include the Premier League or any football around the world, we can do that on our State of Play platform on Lansdowne Raw Plus. Make sure you do have supported that. And don't forget the links in the description. Enter our raffle. We've got 1 week to go until that amazing prize is going to be drawn. And you can also help support the pod by buying our coaster set and stickers, which we're expecting to see them lit all over the lamppost of Czechia and in the ground and everywhere. To celebrate Irish football, which was a fantastic year in 2025, but we're going on to the World Cup in 2026. So thank you for your support, Connor. Over and out from you, but thank you for your wonderful insight this evening.
Thank you, Martin.
Not too error-strewn in the in the OBIG this week, but we'll be back very, very soon with another one and some more shows for you. But and we love you, Dave. Who's Jesus, Clem?
Who is
Come
Dave?
on, who is that? That is Clem Fandango. We love you, Dave. Jesus,
yeah, but Dave doesn't have the humility or the effort to coming on and saying, talking to the fans. So, like, who really should
Love
you be
him.
loving in this channel?
Yeah,
But I guess says, and by the way, we're only on 15 likes so on YouTube. So before you go off, before you leave us, get us up to 20 likes, 25 likes on YouTube. So it helps push it out to new fans ahead of what is going to be the greatest year in Irish football in my lifetime.
It certainly is. Right. Thank you for your support. Lansdowne Raw. Come on, you boys in green.